You gotta send it the day before. If you're gonna remind me, you can't send it a week before.
We're good? Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Is Councillor McConnell? Oh,
Proceed.
too tempting. St. Patrick's Day in Florida. Right? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm going to call this meeting to order. We do have regrets from Councillor and Coach Kirkby. So it's the start of playoffs, so he won't be here tonight. Sends his regrets. On the Zoom, we also have Councillor Burton and Councillor McConnell. Good, great. So first things first is approval of the agenda. The motion is that the agenda for the council meeting of Monday, March 17th, 2025 be approved as presented. We do, however, have an amendment to the agenda. We're asked to defer 12.2 and 12.3 regarding the budgets just till the next meeting. So if that's okay with you guys, I'll have a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Lockett, seconded by Councillor Burton. All in favor?
Discussion, if I could. Is
Sure.
the next meeting March 31st?
No, April 7th. April 7th.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh,
Can I ask you a question?
sure.
What's the reasoning?
One of the councillors who's not here wants to have a further discussion about the budget.
I see. Thank you.
Okay. So all in favor? Carried, thank you. Any declarations of interest tonight? Seeing none, we're going to move on. Well, we don't have any presentations or delegations tonight. So we do have the minutes of the previous council meeting. The motion states that the council minutes dated March 3rd, 2025 be accepted as presented. Can I have a mover and seconder? Councillor Campbell, Councillor Young. Any questions about the minutes? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Carried, thank you. There's no communications or petitions tonight. We do have a consent report, the council information package. The motion is that all items listed under the consent report section of the agenda be accepted as presented. Is there anything in the consent agenda that people would like to take out today? Seeing none, I'll get a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Young, seconded by Councillor Lockett. All in favor? Carried, thank you.
Those packages are getting larger and larger, aren't they?
I think so. No committee reports, so we'll start with the mayor's report. A few things since our last meeting. Had a joint services committee meeting. That was good. But it was followed by a St. Lawrence Lodge meeting, which was better. We just discussed a few things. For example, the agreement that was written, I think the agreement was written 60 years ago. So we're trying to make some changes to that, or at least not redo it, but look into it to make it more up to date. So that was a good meeting. And we also talked a little bit about budgets and getting quarterly reports from them. So that was good. I know on the weekend that firefighters had a food drive at O'Reilly's You're Independent. And on Friday, myself, along with senior staff, had an emergency management meeting that went very well, where we discussed the scenario that we went through the previous meeting, which was all about a power outage. So it was quite fruitful and a good discussion, and further steps are being taken for the next meeting in June. And there are some courses that they want us to take to be up to date. So having said that, I'm going to move along the table here. We're going to start on this side. Councillor Campbell, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor Shankar. So on March 4th, I went to a fire administration meeting. There was an ambulance there, EMS training, just to inform the firefighters about new ambulances and where the stuff is, and they're needed to jump in and get gloves or whatever. But we also learned how to get the stretchers into an ambulance without having to lift heavy people, so I'm trained, so
Oh, good.
they're all good. They did a water rescue course on March 1st and 2nd on the ice at the marina. Mayor Shankar mentioned the food drive. Where are we? What's the date? Oh yeah, that's passed. So Tuesday, March 11th, early years had toured the fire hall. Today would have been a Wellington School presentation. March 10th, they had a water exchange training on the new fire truck, figuring out the waterworks. And that's it.
Great.
It's kind of hard because like one day after I meet with them, so it's, a lot of stuff has passed.
Mhm.
That's what they've been up to.
I know that we're planning on seeing the new truck. Is it coming here? We're doing a picture here? Is that in May?
It'll be the first council meeting in May, prior to it.
So that will be a good picture.
Yeah.
But I know the chief showed me around on Friday after our meeting, and he's quite excited, you know, just like a little kid with a new toy, right? He's very excited, showing me all the bells and whistles, and it's quite a truck. So we're very lucky to have it, and it looks really, really good.
I was able to sit in the new truck.
Oh, did you?
And it's just like a big camper. They're showing me all the compartments. You can put this here and this there. It's nice.
This comes out of here.
Handy.
That'd be fun. You have lots of water anyway. I think it says it has,
150 gallons.
thank you, 750 gallons it holds. So, you know, that's just great. And we're going to keep the other one, the old one. We're going to keep it because it's not worth anything to sell it. And what he called it? He called it they'll use it as a blocker. So when they have it on the highway, so they don't get run over, which
Idea.
hopefully no one's sitting in it if it's a blocker. All right, I'm going to move along that way. And Councillor Burton, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor Shankar. I have hardly any voice, but I don't have anything to report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McConnell, nice shirt. Can we see a full rendition of it?
I just got back. Nancy and I have met some wonderful people here in Florida, and we just got back from having a traditional Irish dinner at some people's house that we met. That was corned beef and cabbage and potatoes and carrots. And this lady is a tremendous baker. She had 4 pies that she made for the occasion and date squares as well. And it was a chore, but I managed to wade my way through everything.
Well done, well done.
Well done. Well, I try to uphold our town as best as I can when I'm away.
Any green beer?
No, there was no green beer.
That's
But
after.
Yeah, you might be interested. Obviously, I have nothing to report on Prescott, other than the fact that I did get an email from my next door neighbor who returned from Peru the other day, and he shot a picture of our house. And I'm very happy to see that snow is melting, and for you emails that's our driveway is bare and is melted up, I'd say, a couple of feet on the lawn. So I know that spring is certainly on the way in Prescott, Ontario. But it might interest you to know that Nancy and I have been volunteering at quite a few events while we've been here. And we were volunteering at one last night, and there was a sudden tornado warning for the area. And within, I would say, about 3/4 of an hour, the tremendous amount of rain that came down in this area was incredible. There were people, depending on where you are in our park here, up to their doorstep with water. Front yards completely disappeared with water. There was the tornado warning, and the closest site was about 3/4 of a mile from where we actually are here. And I don't know if it touched down, but I've never seen anything like it. if you looked out, the entire sky was the same color, sort of a ugly bluish yellow cloud, thundering rain, and within about 30 seconds, it just disappeared and normal clouds appeared, still rain. But I've never experienced anything like that close to a tornado. Fortunately, there was no damage done here, but I know across Florida when they had the hurricane last fall that there was millions and millions of dollars damage done by tornadoes. And in our area here, there's a lot of roofs that still haven't been repaired, large trees that are down. We're lucky in one respect in Prescott because we don't seem to get those extremes of weather that we experienced or other people have experienced. I guess the ice storm was the last big thing that we had. Yeah, we get rain. Yeah, we get snow, but I think we're very lucky in the area that we are. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you're right. All right, Councillor Young.
Thank you, Mayor Shankar. On March the 11th, I attended the Walker House meeting, and they're always busy planning for new activities. Our economic development updates, the Quality Inn Hotel opens tomorrow, so that's exciting.
Oh.
Yeah, and they're going to arrange for a council tour and grand opening will follow. Prescott Center Drive, the wayfinding signs have been installed. So on either side of the big Prescott sign, they look really good and really easy to read. So that's nice to see. The Lightworks Spa is opening on March 22nd downtown. So another business. The BIA AGM is next Tuesday, March 25th, right here in the Grand Room. And the Lighthouse RFP closes on March 31st. So anybody that's interested in manning the lighthouse for the summer, don't forget to get your application in. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Councillor Young.
Thank you.
Councillor Lockett, you brought the good weather back with you. Thank you.
Yeah, I did. You're very welcome. I have nothing to report.
All right, excellent. Whew. All right, so we're going to move on to staff reports. The first one is by Matt Locke. It's staff report 13-2025. Docs B, C, and D replacement tender results. The motion is that council approve the selection of Kehoe Marine Construction Limited for the replacement of B, C, and D docks for delivery in May 2025 in the amount of $493,090 plus applicable taxes. Can I get a mover and a seconder, and we'll let Matt take over. Councillor Lockett, Councillor Campbell, Matt, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Shankar. So as noted in the report, we're recommending the selection of Kehoe Marine Construction in the amount of $493,000. It's for the replacement of docks C and D. Back in November of 2024, we had a condition assessment completed of the 3 remaining docks. These are the last 3 that have not yet been replaced of the 30-year-old docks in our marina. In the inspection, they noted that all 3 docks are at the end of their service life. And so as such, we recommended putting all 3 in the tender in hopes we would get some preferential pricing by doing all 3 at the same time. Just to go over the docks a little bit, B dock is a smaller dock. It's 95 feet long. It currently has 8 fingers on it. We're actually recommending a small design change here. So we're going to a 4-finger design. So there's fewer individual dock spaces, but they're all larger. Currently that dock has 1 electrical pedestal that has 30 amp service and 50 amp service. We're replacing with 3 pedestals that have 50 amp service across the board. One of the things we have heard from our marina operators is that we have a number of particularly wide boats that are too large for slips in E and F docks. And so by modifying dock B, we can provide some larger spaces with 50 amp service, and so that some of these boats that are currently taking up 2 spaces can move to dock B and only be in 1 space. On C dock, it's a 135-foot dock. The only change we're making here is we're removing the finger closest to the fueling dock. Again, what we've heard back from our marina operator over the years is that They often don't put anybody on that dock because it's too close to the fueling dock and people can't get in and out effectively of the fueling dock. And so we're just gonna remove that finger permanently. And then D dock, which is the largest of the three at 185 feet, there's no design change happening to that dock. So the tender closed on March 11th. We received 2 bids from steel manufacturers of docks. Kehoe Marine was the low bid at $493,000. The second bid from Crop Industrial was $593,000. Kehoe Marine has indicated that they can meet our desired timeline of May 2025. So when we look at alternatives, we could choose to go with an alternative bidder or choose to not move forward with the project. However, staff do note that the 3 remaining docks are beyond their useful service life. And so we can't guarantee how long these docks will last. We know that we had issues with a dock failing mid-season in a prior year. Looking at the financial implications, the net cost after taxes is $501,676. This is about $1,700 over the project, the draft budget of $500,000 for the project. Staff notes that we do have $40,000 in the dedicated infrastructure reserve funding for 2025 that was not allocated to any specific project. So we are recommending that $1,700 overage come out of that dedicated infrastructure reserve funding. We also request that we have access to that reserve funding for any additional costs that come as a result of the project. There are a couple contingency costs that we are carrying for. The dock and anchors can't be assessed until the existing docks are removed. So if any of them require replacement, which in the overall replacements we've been doing in the past years, very few have required replacement, but it is a contingency cost we are considering. Also additionally, because we are increasing the power supply to Dock B, there is some chance that there could be additional electrical costs if we have to upgrade the service to that panel. However, all of those electrical calculations are being done at Kehoe's cost as part of the project. However, we do want to carry some contingency in case we end up having to upgrade as a result of the increased power. So overall, the recommendation is to move forward with the low bid of $493,090.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Locke? Councillor McConnell?
Thank you, Mayor Shankar. If memory serves me correctly, when some of our other docks were done in the past couple of years, we actually had to do electrical upgrades. I walk through there all the time. I recall them working on the electrical. So I think it's a very good idea that this is also being considered and a provision made where we can access extra funds if required. So I would say this is well thought out. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Thank you, Councilor McConnell. Anyone else? The electrical upgrades is similar to ones we've already done on previous docks?
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
And I think Matthew and I were discussing that. Something to do with almost like a GFI on for each station, for each finger, maybe? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, so each individual electrical pedestal has its own GFI control.
Right, so that if one blows, it doesn't blow them all for the whole thing. Gotcha. Okay, perfect. Sounds good, and it's coming under budget. Do we have 6 docks? And we're replacing half of them, and now they're all done.
We have 8 docks.
Oh, 8 docks, okay.
And plus the gas dock.
Okay.
So this is the final 3. We've replaced over the last 3 or 4 years the other ones, and these 3 really can't wait that much longer.
No, that's fine. And we're good now for how long?
So average life, or the expected life, is about 25 years for docks. And so the first one I think was replaced in 2020 or 2021. So I think we're good now until the mid-40s.
Okay, that's good. Very good. And one last question, because I don't remember. Have we replaced these docks since inception?
No.
No. So they lasted longer than
So they were installed in the eighties, and so they're
Yeah, 40.
well past.
Well past it.
Useful life.
Good. Yes, Councillor Campbell?
Through you, Mayor Shankar. So with BDOC, you're gonna have half the number of anchors to accommodate larger boats, but you think you need 3 pedestals, is that? Because the cords don't reach on bigger boats. I would think 2 pedestals would be for electrical.
Yeah, so just because of the essentially they end up with 1 extra pedestal because you can park on the end of the dock.
All right. Any other questions? Councillor McConnell, follow up?
Thank you, Mayor Shaker. Not a question, just a comment, but a number of things have been done to these docks over the last 10, 12 years to extend their life. We have injected them with 2 different types of foam. We have tried putting bladders in them. Unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, because that has extended their life to get them to this point, but we're kind of past the point where we can actually do anything more to them. And it's a case of, well, either now or risk a sinking. And if it happens to sink when boats are attached, or while we have the spaces rented out, it could be very difficult for us financially, maybe insurance wise. So it only makes sense to do them now. But given technology, there's nothing to say that something won't extend these docks past their lifespan of 25 years. We'll just have, that'll be for some future council to find out. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, having said that, we'll call the question. All in favor? Here, thank you. All right, we're going to move on to staff report 12.4, staff report 16-2025, the 2024 Prescott Drinking Water System and Wastewater System Annual Reports. The motion is that council accepts the 2024 Prescott Drinking Water System and Wastewater System Annual Reports. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Burton, Councillor Young. Matthew, this one's yours.
So I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Walk.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. So we're recommending that council accept the 2024 Prescott Drinking Water System and Wastewater System Annual Reports. The annual drinking water system and wastewater system reports are documents by which the overall performance of the systems is communicated to the council and to public. It is a regulatory requirement of the Ontario government. So digging into our drinking water report, the large story is that we have passed all of our external audits. Our report card is very good in terms of our drinking water quality. The distribution system is composed of PVC, cast iron, and ductile iron. We're obviously an older community, and so we see some of our water main date back over 100 years in the town. One of the big things to highlight for our water system is that the new storage tank was installed and went online late in 2024. So we previously had a storage capacity of about 2,300 cubic meters. We now have a storage capacity of 4,200 cubic meters. So we've almost doubled our capacity in terms of drinking water availability coming from the tower. So in the event of an outage or the event of a fire, we have a lot more capacity available to us and a lot more pressure we can put on the system. So obviously a very good thing for the drinking water of Prescott. Again, overall, the treatment plant runs below the 8,200 cubic meters per day capacity. We have a total annual flow of 800,000 cubic meters. So that's only a little bit more than 25% of the total daily capacity available to us. And so in terms of the amount of water we're able to pull in from the river and treat, there's no stress on our system in terms of the volume that we're able to treat and get into the distribution network. So then kind of moving on to the wastewater side of things, our system consists of 5 pumping stations to get the wastewater through the system in Prescott and then out to the wastewater treatment system located in Edwardsburg Cardinal. Our system functions on 3 parallel batch reactors that treat the wastewater. Our system was designed to allow for a 4th reactor. With the recent grant money that we have received, that is the large part of the grant dollars related to the housing enabled funding. And so over the next couple of years, we will be adding a fourth reactor to the system, increasing our capacity to treat wastewater by 33%. Obviously, part and parcel of that is that we expect to be delivering water and wastewater services west of our border into Augusta Township. So there were no instances of non-compliance in either our water or wastewater systems in 2024, which is a very good sign. We did have an emergency repair required. There's a physical auger in the wastewater system. And so the one thing just to mention is that people flush a lot of paper and things that they shouldn't be flushing. Too much of that is what led to this blockage. And so just as a careful reminder to not be flushing things that you shouldn't be flushing, because it does result in potential stoppages to our system. So I can answer hopefully any specific questions about the reporting. Just as a general overview, it was a positive report card for both systems. Both systems still have adequate capacity, and on the wastewater side, we're planning on growing. So we're in very good shape overall.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Locke. Any questions? Oh, Councillor Burton. Sign language?
First word.
There you go.
Thank you. Is this something that we should be posting on a regular basis, what not to flush? You know, I think years ago, maybe in my first term, we were discussing the same issues and stuff, and talking about, you know, don't flush your pills and like extra pills and stuff like that. I mean, just to educate the public on what to do and what not to do. Just a thought.
Yeah, Matthew?
Generally, at least once a year, we do have that messaging, and it's always a good time to remind people as we go into different seasons to be able to do that. So we'll bring that back.
Good thought. Thank you, Councillor Burton. Anyone else? No? You're off the hook, Matt. I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. All right. The next one is staff report 17-2025. It's the Prescott Beer Fest Council endorsement. The motion is that council approves the establishment of the Prescott Beer Fest and designates it as municipally significant. So I'll take a mover and a seconder, and then we'll have Dana present it. So moved by Councillor Burton, seconded by Councillor McConnell. Dana, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Shankar, through you to council. So we were approached by a local individual a few months ago with an interest in organizing a craft brewery event, basically designed to highlight the ever-growing amount of craft brewery, and as well as not just breweries, but it will also include cideries and wineries, as well as distilleries. So really just wanted to highlight the growing amount of breweries in the region, provide an opportunity for them to showcase their product, is with the end goal of raising funds for a local charitable organization. So the plan is to donate all event proceeds to the South Grenville Food Bank. The proposed event would take place on July 5th, 2025, from 1 to 11 p.m., located on the waterfront lands just east of the marina, same site where we've hosted Poutine Feast and the Canine Water Sports events in the past. And it would essentially feature, as I mentioned, local and regional craft breweries and alcohol producers, food vendors, live entertainment, and family-friendly activities in a controlled and in family and pet-friendly environment. So we really wanted to stress this is a family-friendly event. This is not, bringing a beer tent type of event that we're trying to bring. It's really an opportunity to showcase some local providers and bring the community together for some fun activities. And the amount of alcohol sold would be limited. There are significant guidelines that have to be adhered to through the AGCO. And that's actually part and parcel of our request coming forward to council is twofold, not only to request the actual establishment of the event, but also for it to be designated as municipally significant because that is required for them to obtain the special occasion permit that they would need to operate through AGCO. So from that perspective, it would certainly be a, sorry, I've lost my location here. Here we are. Okay, so just to take you through the requirements for an SOP, they're only issued to registered charities and nonprofit organizations, events of municipal, provincial, national, or international significance, or tailgate events that are held in connection with a live sporting event. So the event organizer, Etienne Dumont, is local to the region. He possesses a wide background in tourism event planning, has worked in that regard, as well as organized several music festivals and other events on his own accord. So I believe he certainly does have the experience, and based on our conversations to date, he is certainly addressing all the regular event requirements that we're familiar with. He's already approached insurance providers and has a really good grasp of the SOP requirements. And he's also secured a couple of vendors to date, just to get a sense of what the local interest is. So this is an event that personally we have talked about organizing ourselves through the Economic Development and Tourism Department. I have some familiarity with a craft brewery event in my former employment. It was a very successful event, very similar in nature, family friendly, showcasing craft brewers, alcohol producers, and very successful, and really brought a new demographic of visitors to the community. And that's what we were really excited about this event as well, because it's a bit non-traditional. It's kind of out of the usual realm of what we have in the community. And we thought it would be a great opportunity to bring new visitors in. And all of these breweries already have a very large built-in following. So you've almost got a guaranteed attendee base before you even start promoting the event. So it will definitely serve as a high-profile attraction. It will not only benefit the local economy, but the business community as well. Something that we're really hoping to do here is get some of these breweries partnered with local restaurants, not only leading up to the festival, but on a more permanent basis, so that we can start getting some of these local breweries featured as options that are being served in local restaurants. That's something that is currently lacking here in Prescott. A lot of the restaurants aren't currently serving some of those local craft brewer options. So we thought it would be a great way to introduce them to that. And we are also going to have restaurants will be invited to participate in the event and provide the food service for the event. So what we're envisioning is basically a rotating setup throughout the day. It would feature a new restaurant for a period of a couple of hours and then rotate to the next restaurant. And we'd be approaching restaurants that have an ability to provide and prepare something portable that they could make in their restaurant and bring it on site and replenish as required during their period. So I think I've really touched on a lot of the benefits. I won't read the report verbatim. I would certainly, there's a lot of benefits that this festival can bring, and it would also benefit a local charity, which we thought was another key piece. The organizers identified the South Grenville Food Bank as the primary recipient, and I'm sure we can all agree that they are certainly in need of any support that they can get. And of course, it will align with the town's strategic plan and the council's strategic plan as well, by attracting visitors, supporting small businesses, and activating public spaces for enhanced community engagement. Additionally, the event aligns with Prescott's official plan priorities, such as continuing to encourage tourism and supporting existing festivals and events. And it will also promote the downtown and waterfront as focal points for gatherings, and that is something that we're very mindful of continuing to do. And the event notice has been circulated to other departments for feedback, including fire, building, and bylaw. They would also be required to provide liability insurance and which would name the town of Prescott as additionally insured and obtain other health unit approvals such as health unit and OPP as well. And I've received no comments of concern from fire building and bylaw. There was one inquiry as to what level of experience the organizer has with planning festivals, which I'm happy to elaborate on. And the fire department wanted to know if there were any tents that were going to be erected as part of the festival. At this point, it would just be 10 by 10 tents that vendors would bring. Organizer isn't planning on bringing a large tent. We are looking at the possibility of the Leo Boyd Community Center as a rain low venue if we do have inclement weather. And as far as financial implications, the direct financial cost to the municipality shouldn't exceed $1,000. It would be expensed to the regular department budget, covering items such as marketing support, fencing, portable toilets, and garbage disposal. And then there would be in-kind support required for operational staff time to assist with some of that event setup, manning the garbages throughout the event, and for the use of the event space and the provision of staff supports in coordinating and marketing the event. And if the inaugural event is successful, they would certainly like to see this become an annual event. And at that point, they would start to pursue other outside funding sources if required, so that we can minimize any sort of municipal expenditures associated with that. No environmental implications other than it would be supporting sustainability by implementing waste management initiatives such as composting, recycling, and battery recycling receptacles to our events as of last year, which was a great suggestion received from a local resident. And the walkability of the event certainly supports active transportation priorities.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Any questions for Dana tonight? Councillor Burton, then Councillor Lockett.
Thank you. Years ago, we'd had the Taste of Prescott, and that was very successful. Everybody loved the different vendors that came with the different wines and beers and stuff. I think this is an amazing start. I love that a different planner came in, and so our town staff is not they're helping with the event and not necessarily sorry, my voice I know, not necessarily doing all the event themselves, right? So this is excellent, and I've already started promoting it. So thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Councillor Burton. Councillor Lockett.
Thank you, Mayor Shankar, through you. Dana, it says the profits will be to the food bank, which is great, but how will we know what the profits are?
So they would be reported to us by the event organizer, and would be on site essentially. So we have a very good sense of what that attendance would be. We would also have pedestrian counters on site that would be tracking the exact number of people going through the gate. So it would give us some accountability measurements within that. And the organizer is committed to sharing all of their financials with us if so requested. You know, I would liken it to an event similar to the LG trade show that happens every year, where, you know, I think it's a kind of an honor system where they are providing the local organization with proceeds from the event. You know, certainly not something they're required to do. We have a lot of other events that come in that are solely for profit. Poutine Feast would be an example of that, where there is no contribution being given back to the community. So I think this is a nice added benefit.
Is there an admission to it?
Yes, so it would be $20 admission.
Okay.
And that would include a souvenir glass, which would be co-branded with Prescott Beer Fest and the Explore Prescott logo, as well as 2 drink samples. And from there, the individual would have the opportunity to purchase additional samples if they so chose, or take home beverages. But you would be limited to the amount of tickets that you could buy for drinks, just to keep it Yes.
Over.
PT.
Good.
Yes, thank you.
Councillor Young, then Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor Shankar. I like the idea that we're exploring something new because it's always great to bring something new and try it out. If it doesn't work, that's okay, but at least we've tried it. I like the fact that it's tapping into the whole experiential tourism. Can't say that word tonight. Everybody's looking for a new experience, and I think this would definitely provide that. And like you say, bring in a different or a new demographic as well. And I like that it's inclusive, that we're giving the businesses in Prescott an opportunity to participate, because I think that's important as well, for a lot of reasons. So thank you.
Mhm. Thank you. Councillor Campbell.
You, Mayor Shankar, I was just wondering about the $20 admission fee then, so that if you bring your kids, you bring your family, what's the cutoff for?
So kids would be free.
Under what?
It would just be adults, just people drinking, consuming alcohol at the event. Anyone, any minors, it would be free admission.
Okay. And does the food chance to circulate the food, would you put it in one of our extra pop-ups that we're gonna get?
No, because the venue itself would be just adjacent to the pop-ups, and it does have to be gated. There has to be some sort of a perimeter established because it is a licensed event. So what we would do is set up we have tents available that we would provide to the food vendors to set up under our Explore Prescott tent, and then they could just rotate out throughout the day.
Okay, and to get chosen for that, is there gonna be a registration system or
A call just basically would be put out to every single restaurant in town, and then whoever we received interest back from would be accommodated. So at that point, then we would set the times up based on the amount of response that we got from the different restaurants. And it could well be that we would have one or two featured. It may not just be one at any given time. There might be one that provides more of a drink service and one that's providing more food related items, the non-alcoholic beverage. I mean,
and the pop-ups would be operating,
yeah, they would be open and operational that day.
so if our brew is there, that's not a issue.
They are going to participate in the actual within the event site as well. So they'll essentially have two setups that day. They have staff available to set up a tent right within the event site so they can participate within all the other craft breweries.
And parking,
Mhm.
and will it be, can you park at Ford or?
Ford is always works with us and always lets us use their parking lot for events. We can also use the Leo Boyden as spillover parking if there's no event scheduled there for the day. I don't believe there would be on July 5th. It's not generally utilized during that period. And then, you know, as it is with most of our other events, side street parking, Water Street parking, and of course the pop-ups lot as well would come into play.
And not to say where you worked before or how, was it a similar size of event and what kind of revenue did that bring in?
So it was a municipally organized event. It was City of Quinte West, located right in Trenton on the Trenton Severn River. So it was a smaller event site. It was where their farmers market used to take place. So a very easy site to contain, but very successful event. They had 10 breweries, alcohol providers, and very family friendly, you know, face painting. They had a couple buskers and some live entertainment throughout the day. No incidents whatsoever, and it was certainly a profitable event for the municipality.
Is it the range of money?
Honestly, I don't recall, at this point, but I do know that we were certainly in the black, and it's still continuing to this day, and I think it's probably in its 8th year of operation now.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Burton, and then Councillor McConnell.
Thank you. Just one more question, if I may. Dana, is there a cutoff time where the kids are not allowed in the event tent?
No, it would be open to minors right up until the end of the event. Again, the event would have the same activities throughout the day. It's not like we're getting into harder band or music throughout the day. It would be a very low key, mostly acoustic performers, 1 to 2 people, and having family-friendly activities taking place throughout the duration of the event as well. And minors would be, there would be separate bracelets to clearly identify minors versus those who are of appropriate drinking age.
Mm. I'd almost like to see a cutoff, like when you're at a bar, 9 o'clock is the cutoff or whatever for kids per se, or maybe different events. I'm not too sure. I would like to kind of see like a cutoff. Like I don't really want to see like a 2-year-old running around 11 o'clock at night when everybody's still, partaking in the festivities. I don't know how we could go down that road. Just a thought.
Yeah, and I think it's certainly valid, and we could certainly encourage through marketing that maybe the daytime is more that family-friendly aspect. Just looking at, for example, I know Rib Fest is coming here this year, and I don't believe they segregate their times. I think it is open for all ages right up until the event ends. But I can certainly talk to their organizers, see if they implement any sort of provisions like that.
Thank you, Councillor Burton. Councillor McConnell.
Thank you, Mayor. Pardon me. Thank you, Mayor Shankar. I think given the uncertainty with the border that's coming up over the next few months in particular, that people are going to be looking for things to do on this side of the river. And the amount of money and time that we're going to have to invest in this proposal seems to me to be very reasonable for the possible return. We're going to get people in from out of town, from town. We'll get a lot of walking traffic. People like myself can just walk down and walk home again. So I think this is a good idea. I'm appreciative of the gentlemen that have brought it to council, and I think it's something we should support. And as Dana said, hopefully it will be successful and it will just grow from here like many other things have in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McConnell. And just lastly, on my behalf, I think it's great that we have someone coming forward to run an event. I think we stretched ourselves quite thin last summer by doing everything ourselves, and with that success, it breeds more events, right? And we're a small staff, but we can't be at everything. So it's fantastic that this gentleman's coming forward, and hopefully that entices or induces others to do the same. Because you get people saying, "Oh, bring back Loyalist Days," and I'm like, "Sure, we'll bring back Loyalist Days. You run it." There's just only so much that we can do with Rib Fest coming again this year and Poutine Fest coming. Sorry, not again, but new to us this year, Rib Fest and Poutine Fest. We've got a lot going on, so this is great. And Leanne brought up a great point. It sounds just like the Taste of Prescott a little bit. Like, we know it's not, but when you think of all the breweries and all the cideries and wineries from Morrisburg to Mallorytown, just there alone, you'll fill the place. So I hope that they all take advantage of the opportunity, and great cause for a great organization like the South Granville Food Bank. So again, I'm all in favor as well. Any further? Seeing none, I'll just call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next up is staff report 18-2025, the 2025 Community Awards. The motion is that council directs staff to proceed with the 2025 Community Awards as outlined in staff report 11-2025, Business, Citizen, and Volunteer Awards Recognition Program, and that council appoints councillors Kirkby, Lockett, and Young to the Business, Citizen, and Volunteer of the Year's Awards Selection Panel for 2025. Matthew? Any more to say to that? Okay.
Do you want to move over a second?
Oh yeah, how about I do that first? You got a mover and seconder? Councillor Burton, Councillor Lockett. There you go. Now you can go.
Thank you very much. So we did contact, and actually with Daniel contacted the Sub-Government Chamber of Commerce. They're interested in having further discussion. However, it's not something that they could put on their plate for this year in terms of the award. Then we took a look at volunteer and citizen. It's open to all ages. It's not limited in any way to a particular age group. And then the volunteer of the year award has been provided to organizations in the past. So we have struggled some years to get submissions requiring us to extend the timelines, that sort of thing. So I think if there's no nominations received for a particular category, then council always has the prerogative of not awarding it in any given year. So there was also discussion around sports-based awards, and I think that would be a great opportunity to maybe start that discussion at the Recreation Committee, which will be established later this year, and taking a look at Sports Hall of Fame as we move forward. So I did provide basically what's in this report to the three members, that prospective members that were going to be on the working group, and there's a general agreement that we can, I think, for this year, move forward as we have in previous years with the three awards, and then have further discussions as we get a little bit further into the year as to any changes that we might want to introduce.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions of this? Councillor Campbell?
Mayor Shankar, just curious if there's one nomination, or would that person or organization be selected, or are we trying to have at least two nominate?
I think that's up to the working group, and it really depends on the worthiness more than anything. Just because an application submitted doesn't necessarily mean it would be awarded.
Okay, thanks.
Very good. Anyone else? Sounds good. Matthew, we have a mover and a seconder, so I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. All right. Our last staff report is staff report 19-2025, statement of remuneration and expenses for council members for 2024. The motion is that council receive this report for information as the annual disclosure of 2024 remuneration and expenses paid to members of council as per section 284 of the Municipal Act. So it says council receives this as information, but it's still a motion?
Correct.
Okay. So mover and seconder, please. Councillor Campbell, seconded by Councillor Young. All right. Who's going to speak to that? Matthew, you got it.
So section 284 of the Municipal Act requires that we publish by March 31st of each year any council remuneration, including expenses paid on their behalf. So it's an annual declaration. It follows the very similar format that we've done in previous years. And it's simply a requirement of the Municipal Act that we publish this, which we will do so following the meeting.
Great. Any questions for Matthew? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay. So there's no resolutions tonight and no bylaws. Any new business? No new business, no notices of motion, no mayor's proclamation. Thank you, Chelsea. Period for media questions.
Councillor Young, you mentioned another new business that's opening?
Oh, yes, it's in the Star Wellness.
Yes.
Yes, so it's the same proprietor, I believe, but it's going to be called the Lightwork Spa. And it opens on March 22nd.
March 22nd.
Yep.
Okay.
12 p.m. red ribbon cutting.
Okay, thank you. That's all right now.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so we're going to move into closed session. The motion is that council move into closed session at 6:53. Thank you. That's a trick because our clock hasn't changed. To discuss matters pertaining to approval of closed session minutes and a purchase and sale. Under section 239, under the Municipal Act, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality of the local board. And that the CAO, treasurer, and deputy clerk remain in the room. Can I have a mover and seconder for that? And Councillor Lockett, Councillor Campbell, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. So we'll start in a few minutes.